Where will the protests go from here? Maulana Fayaz Ahmed Barkati, will there be a realization, as Parajita Sarangi is calling for, that you have to look at what's wrong, look at why there's such violence response, and speak against those responsible for the beheading, instead of making it seem as if the entire world is out at war with Islam, which is clearly not the case. Maulana Barkati.
See, what I have seen from the French President Emmanuel Macron, that instead of damage control, when this happened, I have already told this, that those cartoons which were published by Charlie Hebdo in 12 years back, what was the necessity, and it took a toll. There was a terrorist attack, there was a loss of life, there was a loss of life, and many innocents were killed. And after 12 years, again you have committed the same mistake of trying to blaspheme the Prophet of Islam, trying to show disrespect and dishonor him, and so much so that now it has entered into your education system, it has entered into your classroom. Now the children, what you are teaching, to caricature and to mock at the Prophet and to make his cartoon and depict him in a negative way, how can Muslims tolerate this? It is false to say that France, the secularism is in the DNA of France. That the history says that France has been very brutal and very has a very evil history of killing and oppressing
Sebastian
people.
Farsis, this is the point again. So you've got free speech on the one side, you've got sentiment on the other. The point again being made is that there are 2 billion people, many of whom are offended, and they want these cartoonists at Charlie Hebdo, they want the French people, the French nation, and the French president to respect their sentiments.
The whole world knows that the visual depiction of
Mr. Barkati,
Muhammad or any other great personality of Islam is not
yes,
allowed
very good.
and is
Yeah,
not
very good.
tolerable in
Mr.
Islam.
Barkati,
So
I hear you offended.
Isn't it instigation? Isn't it a provocation?
May you please let me speak? Can we have at least this debate? Yeah. Okay. So I hear that you feel offended, and I respect that you feel offended by these publications. But have you seen any protests of Muslims in France? We don't know exactly the numbers, because in France we don't do surveys on religion, based on religion. But yes, 4 to 5 million Muslims in France. Have you seen any protests right now?
Okay, one second, Mr. Barkati. I cannot allow this to turn into a street protest or degenerate to the level of a banana republic. His fader will go down. He cannot speak at a time when another guest is speaking. Let Sebastian Farsis make his point, please.
So I just want to make my point that Islam is actually a religion that crosses borders. And I do understand that people in India can be offended, people in Turkey can be offended, and I do value that right to be offended. But we have rules and laws which are above religion today. We are not in theocratic world. Therefore, the rules, again, and I'm repeating it, the rules apply to a country, and the Muslim people in France are French and Muslim, and they accept that. You will ask, I ask you to talk to French Muslims. Do they actually have a problem? The ones who are attacking, sadly, are the ones who are recent immigrants, and of course, maybe might not understand. We just have been radicalized otherwise. So again, I'm saying this.
So you make an important point, Dr. Wail Awad. Sebastian Farsis says, why are there no protests by Muslims in France? Because by and large, the large majority understands, respects, and has benefited from secularism in that country.
Well, I am critical for both the side, the Western world and the Islamic world, by the way. I'm not favoring anyone, because both of them are playing in the hand of extremism, and extremism is based on the ignorance and mobilization. And these kind of protests definitely will not go into it will cause more of radicalism and all. But I think the French people understand the sentiment and the secular France, and I know that France is one of the countries which have been a victim of terrorism. I have no doubt about it. But when there is, you tell me, when there are 2,500 French terrorists come to my country, you call them freedom fighter, you refuse to take them back, you take their nationalities, why you allow them to go for political Islam in the Arab world, in the Arab Spring, when you are denying political, when you deny the religion, you separated the religion from politics 200 years ago in Europe. That is the message I'm trying to say here.